But let me introduce myself. My name's Ken Christophers. I started stringing rackets when I was 15 years old, 1950. Dad had a pretty good tennis racket business and also fishing. And I was the one who loved the fishing. Made a name for myself as an angler, but of course I had to string rackets as part of my job. And over the years, it's nearly 40 years since I've strung a racket, so I don't know how I'm going to go. I've got it all set up to go. But let me show you what we used. There was no machines in those days. This was our Zuntai. This was a frame that was adjustable. Get under the frame, you locked it in there like that, brought it in here like that, and wound it out there. And that held that whole the racket. I believe it was the head stringer of Slazenger who developed this, and it's still 100 years old. My dad strung it through as I say, I'm 80 odd, and Dad strung it through the late 20s, so, you know, amazing bit of machinery. So what I'm going to set out to do is string a wooden tennis racket by hand. No machines, there was no machines in these days, so we're going to do it by hand. So I'll show you some of the tools. I decided what I do would be to string it a wooden tennis racket. Now I haven't strung a racket, period, for over 30 years, probably close to 40 years. And this is what Dad had, it's nearly 100 years old. This is what I learned on, and this is what I used all the way through life. In actual fact, the head stringer of Slazengers developed this in the 20s. And so what it was, you put the frame in there, you lock the frame in there. This here adjusted the frame so that it couldn't collapse. And that had the handle of the racket. And from there on in, you strung it. Put your awls around here. Dad's put that on it. This was original there. This has lasted all the time I've been using it. And so there you go, a bit of antiquity. And it was only hard work. And geez, it was hard work. So I'll go ahead and I'll show you how to string a wooden tennis racket. You had to have a machine to string an aluminium, because what happened was that they had grommets and that you couldn't push an awl in where we used piles and piles of awls and plats. I'll show you. But that explains my bit of gear. And then I'll give you a look at some of the stuff we used. Now let me show you some of the gear we used, and you'll see this gear in action. This would be the oldest piece of equipment I've got. The hook, and what they did, they put the mains in, just strung them in, locked them off, and from there on they put that around there and they pull the mains up all the way through, grab it up, pull the mains up, and that's how they got the mains in. So imagine using a thing like that, you know, you can tell that's out of the art. The important things with this method that we use, which is called a push-pull method, is 2 sets of pliers and a roller. Now my dad used just a big hand thing, and oh geez, he had corns on his hands better than any navvy. And my uncle, the bloke who built this bench, he came up with this idea and gave you the tension. So that's that. The next important things are these, the pliers. You wouldn't buy a pair of those pliers. I had a mate who, in actual fact, I had a string machine, I gave it to him, and he was a really good mate. And he tried, I think, all over the world to buy a pair of those and couldn't buy them. You can get roughies, but you couldn't buy the quality of this one here. And you could grab the strings with it, wouldn't slip. And so that was a pair of magic pliers, and probably the only pair left in the world. Don't know. These here are parallel. These are wire pliers. Parallel, they work parallel as far as they come in like that. So of course they grip the gut. Nylon these days, all all the way along, and they don't slip either. So you've got a good 2 sets of good pliers. They are, again, so old it's not funny. Awls, handful of awls. You know, we have different sort of awls all over the place, and this one's not an awl. This one here has been broken off all 100 years ago, and that you poke in a hole on a wooden racket and open it up so that you can get the knot in to repair put a spare string in. So that was what you use that for. It was used quite often because a lot of the holes were too tight to actually get that double in. And we use these I've been come back here. These here. These are you come into the corner, and so you're repairing a racket, and the string slips back. Naturally, it must slip back. So you grab hold of it with the pliers, and you put that over the strings, put it on and tighten it up, and it holds it in position so it's back to its original position. You can easily see that it's not in its position because of the mark on it, and you tighten it up. So they're used quite a lot. This is an ice pick. Now this ice pick, again, geez, I don't know what it is. You use it like that, and when you see me going, I'll be push when the crosses are going through, so you don't burn the crosses. You'll see what use that is. Handiest thing in the world. Saves your fingers getting chopped up. Pair of pliers. They're not long nose pliers. They're a broad plier. You have a bit of problem getting the end of the string through. You can push it through those, and it gets it through. Everything's got its. Oh, gee, I didn't show you this. This is going to take Jill out. That's what they call a billion, and this is one of the very old units. I used to string squash rackets with this. This fitted in, of course, the shaft, and you did it up just touching, so that it didn't hurt the wood and the racket, and that's what they call a billion. And I strung a lot of squash rackets. Before we go, I'm not talking about machines. I've never used a machine. I said I have one, I'll give it away. I've always strung by hand, and so you'll see me do it the way I've always done it, the way Dad did it. He taught me, and so that's the way it's going to be. Alrighty. Well, the next thing you do, I'll set it up right. They're ready to jump. One thing I forgot to tell you was that stringing a tennis racket, whatever it might be, the material, it is 21 foot length. That's the main strings, the mains, and the crosses is half, 10'6". We used to get our hanks of gut that in a dozen. They used it was hard to get. That's what we used to get. So and that. So I'll show you now how this works. You wrap it round like that. Take it round the handle a couple of times. Get these Mickey Mouse pliers. Grab hold of that like that. Push it. And that's push pull. Slap them all in. And go ahead doing the mains.
I'm just stopping it for a second.
Now, having lots of trouble here. I've got Parkinson's and my wife hasn't got a clue what she's doing, so we're trying to do it. Oh dear. Once again, our pliers, the push and the pull. The push and the pull. How's that? You know, women are like, they can't leave things alone. Jill's doing it. She can cut it now for a second. to us, you know, without a string machine. This was great. The roller I'm talking about, my uncle decided that's what Dad needed. It'll take about 30 odd minutes. You played it like that, listening to it for the tension. This is sort of medium tension, it's an old frame. And I'm going to have a rest. I've just about had it. Yes, you can see how this thing, the simplicity of it, but when you didn't have it, so these pliers, they don't slip, you just grab a hold of them, and that's what you had to have. You had that there like that, pushed up like that. There we go. And of course you had to be very careful when you were hauling, because of the you could break through the gut. Because with machines, they beat the handheld blokes because they had when the aluminium came in, they had I can't find the hole in here. They had grommets in the frames. What have I done here? Whatever I've done it wrong. And of course, if you've stuck an oil through that, well, you broke through the grommet, and I'll explain this later on. Yes, you know, and it just broke virtually became impossible. So then they went into stringer machines. That every man and his dog decided they were going to string after that. They were all experts. And so the genuine stringers, you know, sort of lost a lot. We come to an interesting thing here with the tennis racket. You'll see it on most rackets. Come through here. Ooh, that hurt. And you skip. Oh, I skipped the hole. I don't know whether I'm Arthur or Martha. I think I'm Arthur. I'll show you how to check it. On this bracket. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Now, here goes the wire pliers. We've done the old trick of skip, and I'm going to skip along. And I'm not going to show you how good I am going up and down. You used to go with your fingers like that through it. I can't do it today. But cross. The last strings here. Again, it's exactly the same as before. It's all feel. Pull that up like that. And a mate the other day said to me, "What's an awl?" They use them all in leather work. They can holes through things. That's what an awl is. They come in all different sizes. Yeah. So I'll come back when I get a little bit further down the road and show you the important stuff. Well, this is where this thing comes in handy. Instead of finger up and down like this and burning your finger, this comes into use. Pull in there like that, and then you can straighten the strings up with it if they start to get an arch in them. Like that. That's that. Alright, we'll keep continuing. Going to do a running repair here. didn't make the distance, so you're going to get for nothing. I'm going to show you how we did a repair, because you couldn't. You had to tie off knots with a aluminium racket, with a wooden racket. Use that and brought the hole out so that this would double fit in and pull it in. So here I go. So what you do is, I've opened that hole up, bring that through there, with a loop here. So an old man, and tottery. There's my good pliers. See that there? Hopefully I'm going to pull that in. There you go, see? Good as gold. Now I've only got to come down to just go like this, pull a bit of stuff out. Anyway, what I'm going to do is measure it down to where I want to go, and instead of the end of the main, cut that off there. That was a beauty. Could never have done a better job if I wanted to take that through. Well, I've got down to there with even that repair. This is the mains coming back in. This is the 21 foot that we came down with a 10-foot 6. This is the remains of the 21 feet. So now I'm going to join this in here and zit down there. I'm doing it exactly the way it would have been done. There we go. You can give it a rest there. Grandad will just slap this through here. Now there's my join. As I said, it came in nice and neatly, and this is how you could do it with a timber racket. That was sort of happened. And what I had then was a knife, and they're still actually upstairs. It's half the blade worn away, a good pocket knife. And what you do now is just trim that off there inside and trim it off to absolutely nothing, and then trim that one off there, and there was your repair. So I'll show you how to do a repair on a wooden frame now. So with that, I'm sure you've seen what goes on there. I'll do this last couple of strings and join it in, and well, that's what I'll do. One duty left, actually there's a couple, but I'll give you a look at this. The trebling's in all up the top. This is what we call trebling. And put this in here. Some people didn't put trebling in. I don't think I ever saw anybody do it this way other than Dad. It goes there, and this comes back and around. Well, it'll work for nothing, isn't it? Now what you did was pull that in like that, and that then took the weight off these strings that are coming through here and here, and it took the weight off them. And that was the idea. It was marvellous how much that had stopped these, because these main strings were the ones that usually broke. So there's one thing. I've got some more things to show you. I'll just leave that for the time being, for what he said I've already done up there. Got a bit of tension on there. That'll be enough for anybody to play with. Now, look at this. What they call a semi-flat top. This would be a rare racket. It's called an Alexander Cressy. It was Dad's favourite brand of racket. Mine was Dunlop. But the Cressy, there's a place in Tasmania, if anybody knows it. There's the Cressy. It's a town in Tasmania, and this is where the Alexander Cressy came from. So, that's a flat top. Been sitting upstairs all for years, and you'll see very, very few of them. Yeah, so there we go. Something the old fella's got around the place, and so that's how you do it. Now, this is your 21 foot I had. I now get over here somewhere, and I bring the 10 foot 6 in. As I said, I was running short of material on this on the second go, so I'll do something now I wasn't going to do. I'll show you how we put an odd string, or we call them odd string. So I'll put a join in and I'll show you how we did it, alright? Okay. It's adjustable. Get under the frame, you locked it in there, just closed on them, and you'll see these in use, of course, after. McEnroe, isn't it? And you skip. This is your 21 foot I had. Now again, it's exactly the same as before. It's all filled, and then you can straighten the strings up with it. I'll do something now I wasn't going to do. I'll show you how we now is just trim that off there inside and trim it off to absolutely nothing, and then trim that. You may have seen something that you haven't seen. Alrighty, the Cressy, there's a place in Tasmania, if anybody knows it. There's the Cressy. Go to work for it. So it set me off on a live layer on end. Yes, straight. Put your rolls around here. Dad. My uncle, the bloke who built this here, original position, you can easily see that it's not in its position because of the I think we'll turn it on.
Is mixed.
And the pull. The push. And the pull.